Good morning, friends and family out here at Fairy Tale Farms. This is Ron. Just taking some time to cut some swales today and just to kind of talk about a couple of permaculture things. One of the big things about permaculture principles is to work smarter, not harder. The way they put it is work with nature instead against nature. So we had a cold front, kind of a storm system move through, drop a couple of inches of rain. It's about January 10th, 11th here. So I took the opportunity today to go ahead and just cut some swales. It's a lot easier to dig in this clay. I'll show you in just a second, I've got hard packed clay. So any chance we get to loosen that up, take advantage of the softer soil to move it around where we need it, that's what we're gonna do. So I'll flip the phone around here, show you exactly kind of what I'm doing, how I'm building these beds, and then kind of show you how we're gonna terrain it, what we're up to. Okay guys, we're up at the top near the entrance to the farm. We're gonna call this is our entry circle. This is our experiment from last year, and if you'll notice, we were modifying this with grass clippings, leaves, put a small berm around the back. You'll see how green it is. That's probably ryegrass, some winter grass, and then all the native grass is growing on sheer clay is just brown. So we'll come and talk more about a little bit about that as the year goes on. But right here, you'll notice the terrain, it starts heading down towards that first hugel bed we're building for the food forest. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this runoff that runs kind of straight to where my shovel's standing up back there, the orange grass is running straight to that. We're gonna slow the water down and we're gonna put it to work. And again, another principle is to think of water runoff, rainwater catchment. Think of all that like your batteries for the summer, later spring. So anything we could store in the ground is gonna help us out. So like I said, what I'm doing today is trying to get through this clay, roll it over to the back side. Since I'm digging hard clay and we're trying to form kind of a water, essentially a dam system, I'm gonna put the clay on the back. We'll come back on top of this and we'll modify with some topsoil and some good stuff. But let me show you what I've done here. Over the fall, late summer, as I cut brush, we mark these hugel beds in, my son Tyler and I. So we laid the brush down where we thought we wanted the hugel bed to go. We've been throwing grass clippings, leaves. I just threw probably the equivalent of about 4 large trash bags of leaves, picked them up around the neighborhood, bring them out here. So that's 4 bags that aren't in the landfill, 4 bags going to use. We're gonna compost in place. And then what we're gonna do here, this is gonna be the first swale. We're gonna cut it level on contour, and we're gonna make sure the bottom of this swale is level so that water runs in here, it stays for a bit, percolates in the ground, and then it just goes into that hugel bed. Later we'll have fruit trees, berries planted along this. There's gonna be a lower, that first swale will drain into the second, and it'll just keep going on and around until it reaches all the way back over to the driveway. Hey guys, I just wanted to give you a look at what I'm digging through here. As you broad fork, or as you fork this clay up, you get through the top sandy layer pretty easy, but then you get down here where it just turns to kind of a chunk. Once the summer heat, late spring heat sets in, this stuff turns to concrete. Even after we had maybe a 2-inch rain up here, you could dig through maybe the top 3 inches of the sandy topsoil, and once you hit that clay layer during the summer, that water, even 2 inches, that water didn't even percolate half an inch into that clay soil. So that's why we're out here earlier. The other thing I wanted to show you guys about working smarter, not harder, it's kind of a oxymoron, I guess you'd say in my case, because what I like to do is what I call integrated exercise. So as I take the clumps off of here, I'm just rolling it over in the same stance, same load. I'm just putting it right on the back side of this hugel bed here, and I'm just working my way back to the front of the hugel bed. And then once I get here where I'm standing now, once I get here, I'm gonna have to carry some soil farther down there towards that end, because I'm going to remove more material here to make it level. The point is, out here on the farm, that integrated exercise, I look at it, my grandfather lived to be 94, did a lot of things people would say the hard way. He'd come in and wake you up at 6:30 when you go visit, ask you if you're going to sleep all day. But he lived to be 94, didn't try pizza till he was 92. So these old guys, yeah, they did things the hard way, but it kept them going. And if you're like me, you're in a suburb, working outside isn't really your favorite thing to do. There's just not a whole lot of work in a front yard and in a backyard to keep you busy as far as this type of physical exertion. So I do kind of work harder up here, getting out on the farm. I love being outside. I love listening to the birds. But just kind of letting you know, when you're doing things like this, see if you can combine activities. You're digging it out of here, you're just rolling it to the backside. You're not putting it in a wheelbarrow, having to carry it a long way off. Unless of course you've got a project like that. But anytime you can combine things like this, principles, permaculture principles says stack functions. So even in your work, go ahead and do that. So we'll keep going on. We'll let you know how the progress goes, and we'll see you in future updates. Some of y'all may have seen this one before. We've dug these swales starting in January. I just finished digging that one, the third one there this morning, and added a second little berm here to kind of slow down the water. I did want to show you this though. We had a pretty good rain either a day or two ago, and if you'll notice the grass line there, this was full at least 2.5, maybe 3 inches of water. So these things are really doing their job, and they're gonna make things really bloom up here this year.